Hey guys, welcome to the Heart of David. Hope you guys are doing well today, tonight, whenever it is that you're watching this. Ahead of time, I have to let you know that I'm in quite a bit of pain here. I'll do my best to explain this to you. I just went on a walk with my brother to, I carried a light package. This is an interesting video. Just a light package, and I walked, maybe it was like in total 4.5 kilometers or something, and just holding it up like that set off my it's occipital neuralgia, but in a different type of way, not the regular way people get occipital neuralgia. From an injury. So the back of my head is just like pounding. So it's just a part of my videos, guys. I have to explain these things, why I'm uncomfortable. I didn't look, but in my own journey, to be honest, I haven't seen a video yet. I'm sure there is if you really look for it. The very confusing. I remember when I was little, and when I didn't know much about God, and even probably into my 20s. The thought of eternity scared me, and who knows, maybe it was autism that made it a bit strange. But we all have strange thoughts. And I could just, what didn't scare me, but it made me like, well, I guess it did. But not scared like you think. It kind of, like, made me feel real awkward. Eternity, what is it? In my mind, I see this highway that never, ever ends. How can that be any fun? That's just the way that I thought. Like, I remember thinking things like, this video, by the way, is about God is outside time and space, and all the different intricacies which are, as Paul would say, past knowing. And they are past knowing. Infinite is the only answer. You and I cannot explain how God does what he does. Some of the stuff you and I can only explain to such a small degree. So I'm going to talk about something really interesting, but so I just pulled this up just so there was something on the screen. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take you to a whiteboard and I'm going to draw. I'm not the best at that. It's just a free whiteboard that I can use just to give you an idea. So this isn't the one I actually want to show you. People who you can tell are getting closer to finding out the truth, but aren't believers yet, have a lot of questions, just like all of us have. And it doesn't mean everyone has questions. And, there's a debate. I forget if it's Calvinism, but I believe it is Calvinism that says, we are destined. You and I are chosen. This type of stuff. I believe that, like, I can see the examples in the Bible, and for sure it does say that. But it also says, like, I just went over some verses that says, God desires that we all be saved. That means we have a choice too. And so people will point out, well, look at this and look at that. And then they give examples, but what they fail to understand is that it's called God's foreknowledge. It means this is what God did. He said, I'm going to give people free will. And if I see, who am I to say what God can do? If God is going to interject and send an angel at some points, he can do so. If he doesn't want things to happen to us, do you get it? I'll try to draw that out, but he lets it play out and he watches. So do you understand that God can rewind? He can fast forward just like we have a clicker. He can do that. He can make new things. He can take out old things. He can do whatever he pleases. But people don't understand that. And to say that that's not possible is to say the arm of the Lord is too short. He can't do that. He has good things for those who love him. I'm sure some people are destined and chosen. I'm positive of it because I read it in the Bible. But it also says we have free choice. Do you ever wonder, like, how is it possible that this and this and this happened at this certain time? This person was saved in this way. Like, how did I meet that person today? And how did this just happen to occur? Which they would call, Carl Jung would call, my head is pounding on the back of my neck. Like, it's hard to think. What do they call it? Synchronicity. Synchronicity is God. That's what it is. And there are some things that you and I will just never, ever be able to explain. And that's why we leave it up to God. So I'm going to try to, this is brutal. I have my TENS machine on. If you can see the wires, it's really helped me out. I would say it's probably a level 9.5 out of 10. I'm not kidding you. Takes away your concentration, right? So let's just, let's go to the whiteboard. I just realized I said a whole bunch of things and the mic was off, so I got to redo that. I said God is good to me. I got my motorcycle safety today, and so it's a street bike, and going around all the different streets and some highways. I can't go over a place that's over 100 right now, according to my license, and then I get another one next month, and then I'll be completely free. But learning all the gears and downshifting through intersections and stuff like that, wow. I could always drive, but I never had my own car. Never had that, so now I have my own transportation. I feel excited about that, but I worked hard too for it. But let's mind my drawing for a second here. Guys, don't ever think something's too hard for you to do. Give it over to God. You can work hard for things. All you have to do is keep pushing forward, keep learning. So, okay, so let's take a look at this. Let's just draw a little, I'm no pro here, okay? So let's just draw, this is the timeline, okay? And let's just say, there are some people, they'll put little stick men. Sorry, I should have my glasses. Let's just do one more guy. It's more like aliens, but... Okay, let's just say this is a... Let's just draw the world. Say this is the world. You can call that a timeline if you want, or just say people on the earth. And I'm just gonna say God is a cloud above, okay? In heaven, let's just call that, okay, let's just say this is God, right? Sorry, this is my right hand, I'm left-handed. Okay. I'm trying to do my best here. It's very tough to think. The world has a time limit, okay? It has a time limit. All you and I know is, you know, we have something due tomorrow. I have to pay my rent next month. I have to do this. What happened back in World War II? So you go back on the timeline, forward on the timeline. What do I have to do tomorrow? What do I have to do? That's the way you and I know life. And that's the way we were presented it. I suppose maybe after the fall. I don't believe probably there was time. There couldn't have been. We were supposed to live forever, Adam and Eve, until Satan deceived Eve, right? So people were supposed to live forever. We're supposed to be eternal until Satan usurped that. So where God is, in heaven, the third heaven, I want to call that, there is no law of time. There's no such thing. I know that's hard to comprehend, but just picture a timeline that goes on forever, or picture like around you 360, right? 360 like this, and it just keeps extending outward, forever, and it doesn't stop. It's like space. I believe space is infinity. And just like Paul says in Romans, like it's been made clear to them. Like, who do you think designed this? How do you think the sun just touches us enough so we don't burn and so we don't freeze completely to death? And someone will say, well, we do. Well, for the most part, we don't. For the most part. It could be so much different. Guys, I could use way more intricate methods, but I'm just being rudimentary in this because, anyway, I don't like taking a long time to do things. So look. So this is a world. This is time. Say a timeline. 0, 10, 150, 2000. There's you and me. Here's God above time. You can look at it in two ways. Let's look at it in the Calvinistic way, which they're not incorrect, because the Bible does say, you know, people are destined and chosen. So you can't avoid that. There are many verses that say so. So we have to include that. So for some people, it just is. Look at Jeremiah. Look at Isaiah. Look at Jonah, the angry prophet. Things he tried to run away from God, but he couldn't. So there's that. Those things are blatantly obvious. But it's also blatantly obvious that it says God desires us to choose right from wrong, and it wouldn't say those things if you and I didn't have free will. I don't believe that even for a second. We have free will. I'm doing this by free will. As someone may say, well, no, actually you're doing this for God and it was ordained. I don't believe that. I believe as God sits above time, what he's done is he's let it play out. So let's just call it 6,000 years, okay? He's already seen it. He already understands it. It's not for you and I to say what can be, what can happen. The only thing that we can do is take stabs here and there, right? And try to match that up with what you and I are experiencing from day to day. How is it that I just met this person right after, you know, I had this thought, like things pertaining to God, like that homeless person just, you know, like just at the right time when I wanted to help someone. as he lets it play out, as God just lets it play out, he also, while it's playing out, he throws things in here and there. He might send someone to you and me and see how we react. Do you get it? He can do whatever he wants. He can choose to save us, or he can choose to let the devil do something to us, either because we've been really bad and it's just a way to chase it. You wonder why, like, it's quite obvious sometimes. I'm not going to say that completely impenetrable, but it seems that some people are. Take like Richard Dawkins or something like that. Many other people that I'm sure you've seen are people who purposely blaspheme the Holy Spirit. Can, just purposely trying to agitate the Spirit. But you see, you and I could make a good choice. Let's say we're going along this line, right? We're going along this line. And at the beginning of this line is, say we're 20 years old. And at 20 years old, we decide to open a Bible. Okay, so we got this Bible open. I can't draw it worth anything. Okay, so we open up this Bible. Because we chose to open up that Bible, maybe God, versus if we didn't, or like underneath, right? Like, what's that movie, Sliding Doors? Like, say there's another person there. This isn't preset. We do have choices. We do have choices. So because this person opened up the Bible at that particular point in time, God may have sent down an angel. You never know who you're entertaining. It could be an angel. He may send someone to you to help you in this. He may also test you in many different ways. Where do you think all these tests come? They come from God. And remember, you and I cannot question why he does, like if we're the pot, right? How can we say, why did you make us, right? It's just so, if you think about it, it's stupid. How can we question our maker? We should be so lucky that we weren't born in a boiling pot. So this person, because they went and stole a car, okay? I don't know, let's just make it, I'm just screwing around, let's just say a car, okay? Let's start doing some art. Okay, there's like a George Jetson's car. They steal that car, and all of a sudden their timeline starts to, they may go on for a little bit and they may succeed, but then all of a sudden God may send something horrible after that person. Who is to say that God cannot do whatever he wants with this time? That's what I'm saying. I think you guys understand the concept. This is all I wanted to make the video about, to give maybe a non-believer and also believers the opportunity to see that he lives outside of it. We are his creation. There is nothing that God cannot do. So you think of, like on Star Trek, what's that guy, Q? If you guys know what I mean. The one, not the older Star Trek, which I used to watch when I was a kid, but the one after, Jean-Luc Picard. Q. He would just appear and he would just make things like he could do anything he wanted at any time. And he was all throughout the show. God can do all those things. He can do whatever he wants, but it's not even, you can't even compare it to that. There is nothing that he cannot do. Actually, to tell you the truth, you can't even think of things. You don't have the brain power to think of the things that God can do. Can you imagine what the earth looked like when it was void? And then can you imagine can you imagine being above with God? He's like got you up in the clouds, and you could have like laser eye see down on the earth, see everything happening. Can you imagine the sound, the crashing sounds of the mountains coming together and all that stuff? Just truly amazing. Seeing like massive rainforests come up. If it's in God's will, knock and you will find. If it's in God's will, and let's say you pray for it when you're 20 years old, right? But it only gets answered when you're 30. That's no time for God. And He's not slack in His promises. There is no time limit. There's no time limit on. We don't know how God answers to prayers. I do believe God answers genuine prayers if it's in His will or if you're really in need. I do believe so, if you have the faith. Even if you're lacking in faith, He might do it to bring you to a place where you have more faith. Guys, I'm going to conclude with this. And if you're over age 35 or 40, I think you might concur with what I'm going to say. You're old. No. If you led a life like I did and you wasted a lot of time, like it was a lot of pain, I'm not saying that was, it wasted my life though. And in my mid-20s and say like 13 to 25, I wasted my life. You can't get that time back, but I'll tell anyone that I've seen videos of old women, 85 years old. I believe I've seen one of like a 95-year-old man or woman. You can find these all over YouTube, getting their doctor's degrees. It's never too late. But I'm sure you know the feeling if you're my age. If you're in your 40s or you're in your say in your 40s and up, and you're just starting to get it, like, why wasn't I like this earlier type thing? You understand, and you may understand already, just time is a very valuable thing. It's really, really valuable. And it seems to pass like nothing, maybe not to some of you guys. I'm used to a lot of pain, so like I'm just used to it, so my life is better because I'm doing things, I'm studying, I'm pushing forward, but I find I never have enough time. That's what I find. That's one of the things I hate the most. I do say hate. I hate running out of time. But guess what? And this is one of the reasons why it's so good to believe in God and that God is good, because it doesn't matter. You and I could live till we're 80 years old. I'm still going to have this feeling that when Jesus Christ comes, we're going to be like Him. The world is going to melt with fervent heat, like Peter says, and like Jesus says, fire. It's never going to flood the world again. That once all those things melt and everything is destroyed, all the things that have no value, which is just about everything, we're going to be left in a place without time. And you're going to say the millennial kingdom. That means 1,000. I know. But I still say the same. A place without time. You don't have to worry about those constraints. And I believe that God will just remove it so we won't even remember what it is. Won't that be nice? We can lie down in a pasture for hours. We can build homes for hours, days, months. Yeah, the book of Isaiah says we're going to be planting gardens and building homes, the ones of our own. No, other people won't own it. And then you think of the millennial kingdom, or the New Jerusalem, with streets of gold and rivers on both sides, foundations of 12 types of stones, topaz, rubies, diamonds, all that type of stuff. That's not what... Obviously, though, those aren't things that matter to me, gold and all that type of stuff, but it does to God, so there must be something to it. They are beautiful to look at, of course. Of course, right? God made them. So you know right there that those are not going to melt in fervent heat. Because if those are in the kingdom, then they're all going to stay. How would I finish off here? Just know that wherever you are, that there are reasons for things that happen. And like I said, those synchronicities that happen. There's a lot of people out there that are putting so much false information, or they just don't know, worshiping angels and angel numbers and all that type of stuff as God. Although sometimes I'm sure it could be something to do with tarot or something like that. I don't know. The devil also can work on this earth, so. But also know the earth is the Lord's, so. Can't wait to see all you guys in a time in a place with no time at all. And we will be like the Lord. So you can just imagine, what does that mean? We share in the same type of glory? Not that I'm searching for glory, but that's... What else would we be? If we're going to be like him, it says we'll be like him. Anyways, guys, you get all my point about everything. Just think of the beauty. God bless.